Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, and today I am a wolf, apparently. Well, but besides that, today we are going to take a look at the Happy Exchange and take a look at the current event, which is the cute Pokemon, according to what was announced. And we have a bunch of Pokemon over here. I've seen like a lot of questions related to these Pokemons, which ones are worth to take, etc, etc. So let's go and take a look at all of these. I'll tell you like straight away which ones are garbage, and then we will talk about the more interesting ones. Let's go. So first of all, taking the garbage out, we have Lykan Rock Midday form over here, and this one, if we go to the book, basically you can get this Pokemon for free. Okay, all you have to do is that you need to kit yourself a Rockruff that you can get on the Monster Mist, and you can evolve to either Midday form or Midnight form. The only form that is not available by evolution and that you actually need an event for is the Dusk form that we will talk about in a bit. Still on the garbage tier, Team Rocket Meowth, totally not worth, like his skills honestly are not very interesting at all. Also on the same tier we have Jesse's Arbok, and as you can see by the skills of Jesse's Arbok, like nothing really interesting. Like this Pokemon, it's kind of an old Pokemon, so it's something that is a little bit outdated. Same thing to the James Weezing that is over there on the event as well. It's a Pokemon that applies a lot of debuffs. I could imagine that this Pokemon could be like very good for early powers, early PvP, but you are not going to spend your resources on a Pokemon that is only good for you for like 2 or 3 weeks, okay? So, with those garbage out of the way, let's talk about the ones that can be slightly interesting. Let's talk about over here, James Marini. James Marini, a water poison type. What can this Pokemon be useful for? First of all, it will be hard to kill in an early game because it has access to heavy armor, also has access to corrosion over here when all the monsters get toxic when the battle begins. So, freaking awesome, everybody gets poisoned, and even though the skills are not the actually hardest hitting skills, the skills are focused on damage over time. Now, what can this Pokemon be actually useful for? This Pokemon would only mostly be useful, it's for the cross-server gym. So on the cross-server gyms we have over here the Poison Gym, and since that Pokemon is water poison, so that Pokemon can also be used on the water type gym. On the Poison Gym, sadly, now we have people with Master Evolutions, so it gets a little bit harder sometimes to get over here if you already have enough power to actually hold a blue spot, a purple spot, etc. If there's anybody with a Master Evolutions, it would probably just destroy this strategy. But if around your power you have somebody that they don't have Master Evolutions, it would be fairly easy to hold a spot like this. The reason is this Pokemon over here would be actually very hard to kill. The biggest reason is that related to poison type attackers, if you try to think poison type attackers, there's only one right now, really. This one isn't very considered because it's some kind of a rare Pokemon and not everybody's going to get it. And the same logic will apply to water type. If we go and take a look at the water types that exist, usually the only water type attacker that people usually play nowadays is Resonance Palkia, and even then it's not even that popular anymore. So if you are looking to hold yourself a rank on the blue spots, purple spots, etc. on the poison or water type gym, having one of those Marinis added to your team might be a good thing. So, from Marini we are going to Jess's Mimikyu. Now, Jess's Mimikyu, it might not be as useful for Marini, because Marini, in comparison to Marini is a Pokemon that you can use on the cross-server gyms, and you can actually use it for a long time, especially if you have enough power to hold one of these spots, and if you continue grinding the game, of course, you'll probably have enough power to hold these spots for a very long time, and thanks to Marini, you'll probably be able to hold them longer. Now, related to Jesse's Mimikyu, I would say it's more of an early game Pokemon. Jesse's Mimikyu, being a ghost and fairy type Pokemon, has actually very interesting skills with high crit rate and crit damage. Even though this Pokemon is not useful in the late game because of lacking speed and lacking many other stats, I always thought this Pokemon was very interesting. So if you have yourself like a Giratina, evolved Giratina, okay, so Origin Giratina early game, or if you have yourself a Tapu Fini early game, and for some reason you feel like you really need an attacker and you have nowhere to get one or whatsoever, this could be one of your attackers, and it could work for a very long time until you actually get a solid attacker, like a big Pokemon, a big meta Pokemon. Well, but keeping in mind that the suggestion for Mimikyu would only be if you, well, 700 Unishards is a lot. Usually we advise on the early game, if you are the kind of person that don't spend a lot, you need to save at least 2k for Latias and Latias Overlord to start getting some Unishards on the Monster Riot, etc. Pairing it with a Lugia or something like that that you can catch from the mist. Mimikyu would only be in an extreme situation when you would probably already have those Pokemons like a Tapu Fini, an Origin Giratina, and you could probably build a second team, for example, and you would want to have just a solid team so that you can play for now and while you are building something else. Now, let's talk about the two most interesting ones. We have Team Rocket Wobbufet and we have Dusk Lycanroc, which I actually have over here, these big boys. So let's talk with Lycanroc and leave Wobbufet to the end. Lycanroc, the only usefulness of this Pokemon is the legendary journey. Like, he actually is a decent Pokemon if you want to use it as an attacker for an early game. That's also a possible thing, but is mostly useful because he's actually needed to complete the Crystal Star over here. You actually need a Dusk Lycanroc to actually be able to play this. So by completing this one, by having a Crystal Onyx and a Dusk Lycanroc, you can get yourself a Crystal Star. Now, Crystal Star makes all enemy Pokemon vulnerable with 15% damage increase. Now, you're probably thinking, yo, is this even good? And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna show you actually how good Crystal Star is. So over here we have a team with a beautiful cheerleader in the middle, and I'm going over here against Thony. Where's Thony? And over here against Thony's Flare is actually tank enough for me to test it. So I'm going to use a fighting move. Hopefully I don't crit, because I removed a lot of crit multipliers from my account so that I can test this out. And boom, we do some damage over here. Now, this Zygarde is around 6.1 million HP remaining, and we have to keep in mind that my team has no Crystal Stars. So now we want to replicate the same situation. I'm going to go back, I'm going to equip the Crystal Stars to my full team, hopefully attack the Flare without the crit and see what is the damage difference. So we go over here to Sword, that he had no Crystal Star. Okay, everything is set up. We have over here 1 Crystal Star, 2 Crystal Stars, and we have the cheerleader as well with another Crystal Star over here. And we are going again against Thony and actually try out and see the damage difference. Let's see, hopefully we don't crit, and there we go. We did not crit, and this time with only 1.5 million HP remaining, this Flare. And this is actually nice. I'm happy that I did not one-shot it. It's mostly so that you guys can see the difference in damage that you can have with one single Crystal Star. I mean, it's not one single Crystal Star, it's actually a team full of Crystal Stars. And now you guys can understand the difference that the Crystal Star makes. This is a team full of Crystal Stars, everybody has a Crystal Star themselves, and that's why getting Dusk Lycanroc can be a good idea, so that if you have Dusk Lycanroc and Chronix, you can start farming those Crystal Stars. But let's yeet this Dusk Lycanroc and let's talk about Team Rocket Wobbufet. Now, Team Rocket Wobbufet has multiple good things. One of them is being a guy that has Friend Guard and Pain Treatment, or Friend Guard and, for example, you can use Fog over here that gives dodge to all of your Pokemon if you have a Fog 3. Actually, let's get that Fog 3 really quick. I swear, I'm getting everything except Fog 3. Okay, there you go, we got Fog 3 over here, and now Fog is giving dodge to all of your team. But it's not just that is special about him. The best thing about him is also the Shadow Tag, which is his passive. Team Rocket's Wobbufet won't receive damage which is more than 10% of its max HP for the first 2 rounds. And what does this mean? This means that this Pokemon will only get 10% of damage. Like, you can even have the strongest Pokemon in the game, but you can only deal 10% of HP damage to this guy on each attack. I mean, if you have a Thunder set, of course you will deal more, but usually it's only around 10% HP that you can deal to this guy. And the best thing about that is that while he's alive, he's not only holding these buffs for you. If you are a little bit more of an advanced player, you can also give him something like a Regigigas gear, which can give defenses, or if you are even crazy enough, give yourself a little bit of decreasing your enemy's hit. But speaking of this hit decrease, so basically this would be dodge in a way, I'm not 100% sure of how this one would work, because some Pokemon can actually be immune to this. Debuff is something that I still need to test. But that was just an example, another thing that the Wobbufet can hold, so if the Wobbufet is struggling to die, one of the good things is that you can give him Wish Stars. There are some Wish Stars that their effects actually disappear when a Pokemon dies, like the Support Wish Star, the Double Leaves. These effects over here actually fade away once the Pokemon that is holding this Wish Star dies. So if Wobbufet has a hard time dying, why not letting him hold the Wish Stars? Things like Calibration, which reduces the enemy's dodge so that your Pokemons don't miss. If there are Wish Stars that you can give to your Wobbufet so that he can hold a Crystal Star, he can hold Flare, he can hold a lot of things. But this guy is made to hold Wish Stars and give your team a little bit of damage reduction and also a little bit of dodge. Now, trying this out in a battle, let's see how it goes. So I'm going to get hit with quite a decent amount of damage reduction. Hopefully we go and see this, and let's see what this sword focuses. He focuses Team Rocket Wobbufet. So as we can see already on auto, this is actually awesome, because if you are playing on auto, one of the things that might happen is that after the enemy uses their first attacks, like their big attack, they actually want to focus the Wobbufet for some reason, so you are basically free to do whatever you want now. Like, you could just do your attacks. Of course, over here I'm just not playing for the most efficiency possible, but you guys can understand that that can be actually very useful. As you guys can see, even Shield actually dodged that. Shield actually dodged one of the hits over there. Of course, this would be a rare occasion. You would probably need a little bit more dodge on your build to actually have fun with the dodge itself. But that's why I actually was suggesting between dodge or pain treatment. If you feel like there's no way you can dodge your enemy, one of the things that you can also get would be pain treatment, because, well, that means that once the Team Rocket Wobbufet is hit, there's a chance to heal all the members 10% HP after he gets hit. So he heals and he doesn't die. Basically it. So if you want to build this guy, you would need a floral healing, and if you want to be even more efficient than I am, you can give him a synthesis, which I don't have right now, that's why he doesn't have one. But giving him a synthesis will increase his healing and will actually make him heal more, which makes him die less early in a battle. But of course, Team Rocket Wobbufet would be suggested if you have those kinds of teams that would actually benefit from being a little bit more tanky, which I believe Sword and Shield actually does benefit from that. So yeah, those are my opinions about the current Pokemon in the Happy Exchange. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next video.